Okay, this is for all the muzzleloaders out there who happen to be shooting a CVA Optima. Now, I had a customer bring me this action here the other day, and he had taken these two roll pins out right here. And that dropped the trigger assembly, and of course that creates a nightmare on getting this thing back together. However, it's not that hard. Well, sort of. Now, to be quite honest, I chased my tail on this a little bit until I figured out the magic way to hold my mouth and machine parts and make it all work. But there's some simple tricks. We're going to go through those here real quick with a couple of machined dowel pins, or you could, honestly, you could just use a wooden dowel. It would work the same. I didn't have dowels left over, so, well, I just machined some here on the lathe. So we're going to jump in here, show you how this is done. I hope it helps anybody out there who's, well, taking these roll pins out to clean their action on their muzzleloader. To get this thing back together, it's pretty simple once you understand it. Again, I chased my tail a little bit, but we got her done. So, hey, if you like these kind of videos and you want to see more gunsmithing stuff and sort of how things work on all kinds of different things, whether it's muzzleloaders, pistols, rifles, whatever, let me know in the comments, give it a thumbs up, but let's jump in and get this thing done so this gentleman can come get his action and go on his hunting trip. So let's show you how we did this. So there's two things you're going to need before we get started in this process, and that is two small pins that you can make. Now, you can either make these out of aluminum or brass, or a wooden dowel is fine too. These particular ones measure 0.194. They are 636 in length, 635. You're going to need two of these, and on each end I just sort of taper down the end here just to help drive them through a little bit and help self-center. So you can do wooden dowels, bronze, aluminum, whatever you need to do. The factory pin size is actually 197, so you're going to give yourself just a little bit of a free play there so these slide in and out real nice. Okay, so first things first, we have these two lower pins right here. And I think the consensus is you can just pull these two pins out, the trigger assembly comes out of here, and you can go in and clean things up, and that makes good sense. Except you can't get it back together. So let's pull it apart. So what you're left with is a spring floating around inside here. Show you a close-up here of this spring. It just kind of floats around, and that puts tension on the trigger spring to keep it forward for the trigger pull. And then you wind up here with the trigger, a magical spring that just falls out, and your assembly here for the housing. Also, you want to be careful because there's a little bushing right here, and this bushing falls out really easily. So what I did was I put some grease on this bushing, and that'll just help keep it in place here. So let's go ahead and get some grease on that. So I'm going to use a little bit of this Tetra Gun here. I love this stuff. It's a grease. And I'm just going to squeeze a little bit here on this bushing. And that's just going to help hold the bushing into this housing here. It's just going to stick in there real nice. Just like so. So the next thing we have to do is we have to install the trigger first. Okay, so we're going to hook this spring here with the trigger, pull this down, and then we're going to take a pin, I'm going to push that through, and we're going to grab this trigger here. Scoot everything over a little bit closer to center like so. And that pin is going to hold the trigger assembly, and what that's going to do is allow us to take this and drop this in here like so. Well, we have some other stuff to do, but that's just going to center that like so. Now what this pin here does being a nice loose fit, not too loose, but a little bit loose, is that is going to allow us to take the factory pins and drive the pin we made, or a dowel or whatever you're using, out, and the factory pin here will take the place of that. So the next thing we have to do is we've got to get this here installed, this spring here. This is a little bit tricky too, along with everything else in this setup, but in this housing you'll see there's a cutout that the spring sits into. Okay, so this is where the second pin comes into place, and then we want to make sure that this spring here, with the long end of the spring, is able to catch this other pin here in the back. So here's how we set this up. We want to take this pin, set our spring in here, into the area that it's cut out for. Take this pin, and we're just going to slide this pin through here. The pin that I machined down does not protrude from either side, so it can slip into this body. Now here's the trick. With 3 hands and holding your mouth right, you're going to drop this in here, hook that pin over the rear of this pin here. We can drop this whole trigger assembly in here like this. Now here comes the fun part, and it's really hard to do this on the bench, to be quite honest. Normally I would do this on a vise to hold everything together, but for the art of entertainment, here we go. You'll see the factory pins, they have a flat side and a nice little rounded side for aesthetics, I guess. What we want to do is line everything up here, and then hold it in place, drive 1 pin out, 1 pin in. Same thing with the other side. 1 pin in, 1 pin out. There we go. Now function test it. You can hold your finger over the firing pin here. You'll feel it bump. There we go. Just like that. So for all the folks out there who think they have to send these back to the factory, well, you don't. So that's it, guys and gals. That's the basics of this one, and I hope this gentleman can go out and do his hunting and shooting and whatever he's going to do. So hey, if you like it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you'd like to see some more of this content, let me know. Leave a comment, and we'll, I'm working on guns literally every day out here in the shop. So, as things come in, I can always set up the camera and stuff and try to get some more footage. So, and we have a lot of other builds coming up here. A quick sneak peek. This one here, the father and son rifle build series, is coming together. So it's not done yet, but we're close. This is Cody's rifle, so we're just darn close. But anyways, hey, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.